I would like to start by introducing myself. My name is Erin Wygant. I work for the San Juan Islands Visitors Bureau. And then I'd also like to introduce our gracious host and tour guide for this afternoon, Tony Knutson, the co-owner
Hello.
of Buck Bay Shellfish.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. I'm so excited for this opportunity to show you guys around, see what we do here.
It's going to be so exciting to get a little sneak peek behind what all the work that goes into Buck Bay Shellfish Farm. So this is the 13th year that the San Juan Islands Visitors Bureau has hosted Savor the San Juans, which is a fall celebration of food, farms, and films. And we're very excited to be able to continue this tradition with you. Though we wish we could be doing these tours in person, we're so glad that we can continue this tradition virtually with you all here on Zoom. So thanks for being flexible. These virtual events will be taking place all throughout October, so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of the other farms and restaurants and wineries and vineyards that are doing tastings and cooking classes later this month. You can find a list of all the virtual events. They're all free. The film festivals have a small fee if you want to purchase videos. But all of the cooking classes and farm tours are free. So we hope that you join us, and you can find a list of those at visitsanjuans.com/savor. So without further ado, let's get into Buck Bay Shellfish Farm. Again, this is Tony Knutson and her head chef, Avery Adams. And would you guys like to welcome our guests?
Yeah. Yes, please. One thing we're not seeing is I can only see the one family with all those cute kids. So we can't even see anybody else, and I'm wondering.
They're still logging in.
Yeah, we'll
Oh, there we are. There's Barbara.
Yeah, there's some people still joining us.
There we are.
Oh,
There's
yay.
Kat. Here we are. All right, we're populating here.
Yeah, here we
Very
go.
well.
Oh,
Well,
this is so
let me
exciting.
tell you a little bit about Buck Bay Shellfish Farm. Oddly enough, we actually started our business here 13 years ago, the same time that the Visitors Bureau did, it sounds like. And we have really grown over the years. We started out just selling oysters and clams, which is what we actually farm here at Buck Bay. We have 26 acres of farmable shoreline. What would you call that? Bay?
Yeah, bay.
Yeah, bay. Yeah, where we grow our shellfish, and we just started doing that. And I remember we were so excited. We get like 10 customers a day, and it was just so exciting. It would just blow our mind. And I would say now, I think that we're actually welcoming about how many people a day now? Yeah, I think almost like maybe even 1,000 people a day.
Yeah, on a busy.
It's really grown incredibly well, and we've added other things along the years. The first few years, it was just the clams and oysters, and we added crab, and we sold that out of coolers, and then we added fish. Which the reason why it took us a few years to get the fish is because we acquire our fish and all of our local products from our local fishermen and women. And it was really hard for us to be able to get into that niche, into that world, the fishing world. Most of them are Native Americans, which we buy our fish from, and our crab and our prawns and our shrimps and anything else that comes out of the sea that they're fishing for, we're buying it. And it took them a while to be able to want to talk with us and deal with us. And so we finally got through that barrier. And now we have just such a great relationship with 3 different tribes. And that's a real big accomplishment for us as a business, because that's what keeps fresh food in his kitchen. Everything that he serves on our menu is locally sourced.
So yeah, like 75% plus is from Orcas Island or Salish Sea. Or grown ourselves on site, which is, for a culinary professional, is just an absolute dream.
I mean, if we could, if we had a pottery shop, we'd even make our own plates here.
It's a real DIY operation.
Yeah,
it really is. This is a true. I heard one of the chefs actually saying the other day. It was yesterday. One of the gentlemen were saying that this isn't just a farm to table venue. This is more of a farm at the table venue that we have here, because you'll see later on in the program here that we grow. Right now we have 2 acres of organic vegetables that we grow, and it only is used by Avery solely.
Yeah, we're right now, and because it's fall's onsetting, right now the kitchen's in full preservation mode. Looking forward to the winter and the coming season, so we get to serve our corn, cabbages, and tomatoes late into the winter when the cabinets are usually pretty bare. So that's been a massive undertaking. There's about 500 pounds of food being put up right now, which is really exciting.
So yeah, it's just really grown so much that we're just excited. And then this year, of course, we started the Bistro. We welcomed the Bistro on year 13. It has been a huge hit. And we were so lucky and so fortunate to be able to have Avery join our team right away. And I'll tell you, we've been getting really great reviews, and we're just so happy about it. So we're going to keep doing it and keep doing it more and more of the same, and continue to just listen to what our clients want and go there. So
Great. We love to hear that. I'm so glad that you started to talk about the garden and the bay where you do all of your fishing and farming, because that's where we're going to take everybody right now. So we're going to head down to the bay and see where the clams and oysters are farmed.
Hi, welcome. I'm Tony Knudsen, and I'm co-owner of Buck Bay Shellfish Farm on beautiful Orcas Island. We've been doing this business for 13 years, and we are a full-fledged shellfish farm. And this is where we do our farming, right here, right out here on Buck Bay. It's been in the family since actually 1935, and so we're going on, I don't know, what is that, 90 years or so. We have 26 acres of farm, of bay here that we actually own. And we do shellfish farming, meaning that we grow oysters and we grow clams. It's an operation that we don't do in the wintertime, but that we do another, I'd say 7 to 8 months a year. Basically what we do is we get bags of clams, and typically we get about 2 million a year. And we build nets there that are a certain width and length, and we stake that area out in our bay. We have a clam digger, and Lucas right now has been our clam digger with us for 5 years. This is his 5th year with us, and he does this all himself. It's a one-man show. We do the seeding and the setting up of the bay, and he comes and he diligently digs about 1,000 pounds a week for us. It's really incredible. That's how many clams we sell out of our small operation here. Oysters are meant for love, and I think it's because you have to really nourish them. They're really, they need a lot of attention. But boy, the terrific product that you get out of oysters is worth all the work that we put into it. Once a year, we hire about 12 people, and we go out and we empty all of our bags, which are underwater right now, and we sort through them on that contraption that you see out in the bay. We sort through every single bag we have, which is several 100,000 bags, and each of our bags have about 20 to 25 dozen in each of in the bags. And so we just go sort through all that. It takes us 2 weeks. The people that work the bay, it takes them about 10 hours a day. We also feed them because it's very tiring and hard work. And so during the season, when it's time to have our business open, it's easy for us just to run out, grab a bag. We know there's about 20, 25 dozen in each bag. We figure out how many bags of oysters we need to be brought into our live tanks, and we process those in, and we can do this several times a week. So that's how the oyster world works.
Tony, thank you so much. I wanted to call out a few numbers that really jumped out to me from your tour just now. 26 acres of farm that produce 2 million clams a year. That's I don't think I can get my head around what 2 million clams looks like. That feels like an absurd amount to come through a tiny little bay on Orcas Island.
Yeah, it really is amazing. You know, when we see clams, we see them under a net, and each net, we probably put about 50,000 clams underneath each one of our nets that are 14 feet wide and 70 feet long. And out of that, we're going to have a great deal of mortality rate. I'm not real sure exactly what the mortality rate is, the percentage. On oysters, it's like 30%. Clams, we're not real sure. But out of that net, we'll yield about 2,000 pounds. And we go through that. Like I said before, it'll take us 2 weeks to go through that one net. And so if you start looking at the numbers and start, if a normal clam, if you get a pound of clams, you're going to get about 32 clams a pound. And so, so you could really have a lot of fun counting clams and doing all of that stuff and figuring out how much comes out, what the number exactly is that comes out of all the nets. But that's what we have to do in order to figure out, to get to that point where we can sustain ourselves. And we've come up with a number of about 2 million a year. So
wow.
There you have it.
That sounds like a math problem that I am nowhere near equipped to tackle, but that is a lot of clams. And then what surprised me is, Lucas, you have one man digging all of these clams. Can you share a little bit about his process or his schedule, how long that takes him, or when is the best time to dig for clams?
It's quite the operation. You have to be really, very dedicated, which Lucas is. In the past years, we've always had 2 clam diggers. But this year and last year, he said, you know what, I think I'm just going to do it myself this year for whatever reason. And since, he's the clam god, we have to let him do whatever he wants. And so dig does. And so what that means is he works with the tides. So literally as the tide goes out, as soon as it exposes the clam net that he digs on, he has to dig on the same net until it's dug out, and then he changes to the next one and changes to the next one. So what that means is that he has to work by the tide. And it's like right now he's digging, last week he was digging at 2 o'clock in the morning and out there for 6 hours. And so he'd come in about, it seems like I saw him around 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that. He'd be pulling in 400 pounds of clams, because he'll dig about 45 pounds an hour. And so when he's digging in the nighttime, he's got a headlamp on and he's out there with all the raccoons. And if he's doing during the daytime, he's out there with all the birds, doing it in the weather, whatever the weather is, whether it's shiny or rainy or whatever. So, and the thing about, it's all about the timing as well, because our clams need to purge a minimum of 2 days before we can send them to market. And so that means that he's got to stay ahead of our clam inventory. He's got to think ahead, work with the tides, because sometimes, some weeks he can't even dig. And so that becomes the beauty of having our live tanks, because he can dig like a week ahead sometimes, and then just keep him on our live tanks, and then we'll be okay. But it's quite a rhythm that he has to get in order to maintain the amount that we need. We probably sell about, 75 pounds a day just out of our store. And then some we send to restaurants, local restaurants, and others we sell out of our bistro. So yeah, it's quite an operation, and he does that all by himself. And so each dig, again, is about 6-7 hours of length. And then it takes about another hour for him to process the clams in to one of the live tanks. Yeah. So, and he'll do that 3 days a week.
Wow. Talking about the live tanks, I know that you also bring oysters into your live tank as well as the clams. And one thing that you said in the tour was that oysters are made for love, and that makes me laugh, because you have such clever shirts. But that got me thinking about oysters and romance. Those things kind of go hand in hand. And I wanted to know, what kind of, do you guys ever host weddings, or what kind of events do you guys do in the way of love and oysters?
Well, this is really fun, because yes, we do host. We've only done one wedding here, and it was because it was our office manager. I had to do it. And it ended up being so much fun. You were there. Yeah, it was beautiful. But normally we just host receptions and other special events. And we've had up to 75 to 80 people at some of our events that we've done for people. And most all of them are, oddly enough, around shellfish themes. And so, like, I'll get little shellfish. This is a live oyster, but a dead oyster, and I'll write their names, and that'll be their name plates, and so it's all kind of themed around what we do here at the farm, which is one of the reasons what attracts them. And then Avery, most of the dishes that he does for those events are totally seafood themed, and so
Yeah.
it'd be salmon.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, the wedding, it's a slam dunk venue. And I, before I came on here, had done events in conjunction with Buck Bay, or like with a staff party we did last year.
Yeah.
And
He's
yeah,
been hanging around here for years.
I've been hanging out for a while.
Finally, we got him in here, inside the indoors.
But yeah, the weddings have just been largely salmon barbecue, fish. You know, we've done
seafood boils.
Yeah, clams, half shell oysters.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So, and eat crab boils, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it's a lot of fun, and we do a lot of them. This past year, because of the COVID, I think we did a total of maybe 4. But I would say, generally speaking, we probably do about 15 to 20 a year.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
This year it was great to be able to operate within like smaller groups and have them be within their bubble, and then like take their sort of COVID accountability on their end, and then we have our protocols. So it was easy to just be like small group, do a couple of sides of grilled salmon, let them have their nice time, and like get beautiful late summer light.
So we're gearing up for that this next year. We're actually, I think it's going to be 2021 is going to be the small event, a small event venues.
Yeah.
And so I think that we'll probably be gearing up a lot to be able to handle those. And they're real intimate and a lot of fun and not so much work.
You know, the guests' perspective too, they really like that small setting.
Yeah.
And it's sort of their like special little, you know, night or whatever the event may be.
It is so much more intimate. Yeah. So yeah, we do that, and it's a lot of fun. We love it.
Fun. I wanted to thank Karen Treadwell for messaging me and wanted to bring it up that anyone can either unmute themselves and ask a question or use the chat function to ask our guests a question. But Karen would like to know, are you both born and raised in the area?
I was born on the Elwha Washington State Ferry, and I grew up on San Juan Island.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
I'm very much from the area, and that experience is a big influence in my own cooking. Just making food that I grew up eating. Grew up eating a lot of oysters and clams and crabs. So just being out here was a logical jumping off point.
And I call myself a Northwest
Yeah, you
girl.
for sure are.
You know, I've been in Washington and Idaho, you know, most of my life, or all of my life really. And I've been up here on the San Juans for 21 years now. And other than that, I was just, you know, I grew up in Tacoma for a lot of the part and stuff like that. One of the things I wanted to say about Avery, it's really funny, just you drive around and it doesn't matter what time of year, he'll be parked, I'll see his car on the side of the road, and I always know he's in the woods foraging for food. So
Those are my aquamarine car. It's like hard to admit.
yeah, it's like, oh, there he is looking for food again. And even before he worked here, he'd always be out on our beach, you know, looking for what do you call it, sea beans?
Oh yeah, sea beans.
The sea beans,
lettuce,
all kinds of stuff. Just all seaweed.
yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, so speaking of Avery foraging for food, we're going to now go to the garden where he does most of his foraging for the bistro.
So this is one of our gardens that we have. A few nice things about this garden is, first of all, it was started back in 1940. It's one of the original gardens that are on this piece of property. So we call this the lower garden, otherwise known as Grandmother's Garden. And please come on in. Here it is. The other thing that is lovely about this garden is that it sustains our bistro. We don't even eat anything out of this garden ourselves. It's totally sustainable to our bistro. So everything that is whipped up over there comes right out of here. Avery and staff, Avery is the lead chef, and staff make incredible corn dishes. Right now, what they're serving is a fried cabbage dish that has all types of great things, from the corn coming off of our corn to the tomatoes, all the way to the salmon roe that we bring in from the salmon that we purchase from our local fishermen. He has always about 2 or 3 garden dishes on our menu on every single day, and you never know what's going to be on it. He comes out here, Avery looks around and decides, yep, that's what we're doing today, and whips these dishes up. It's really incredible.
You made me blush.
It's so true.
So we have another message asking how long the bistro has been open.
Well, we just started it this June 15th of this year. It's the first year for it. So
Off to the races this year.
Yeah. And it has been an incredible hit, and we've been really, really stoked about that. Prior to that, we had a deli running in there, which I just sold, like food that you could eat here, like ceviche, house-made ceviches and crab cakes and things like that you could enjoy here at the picnic tables, cooked crab, cooked prawns like that. But so you've always been able to picnic here, but now you're able to actually come in and get yourself, a beer or wine along with this fabulous food that Avery prepares, and just really enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, one of the cool things as a resident of Orcas was always coming out to Buck Bay, bring a bottle of wine, get, a couple dozen oysters and make an afternoon of it, get a crab cake and a whole crab, whatever. And now it's been nice to assimilate an experience of, I want to be a diner or I want to be a grazer and a picnicker, and you can kind of customize between the two, and they have been able to work in tandem pretty well. But the bistro, it's brand new, and it's an ever evolving, rapidly changing, dynamic place.
Yeah, that's absolutely designed around what we do here, and that's grow fantastic food and bring in great Northwest local seafoods. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it's all about right there.
Yeah, it feels the food ethos, a lot of it has been, using what we've got, celebrating the really incredible products of the area, and also pretty heartfelt cooking. I had come out of staying in place, doing a lot of home cooking for maybe the first time in my professional adult life, and bringing a lot of that kind of food to the table, because my background is in fine dining, and I wanted to get away from pretentious food because I just didn't feel like it mattered at all. And so to be able to cook just really simple, delicious local food became so much more of a priority.
Yeah. I love that. I feel as though, go ahead, Barbara, if you have a question.
Actually, in the meantime, I already have 3 questions. At first, there were only 2. Well, the first question is, you obviously only sell your products locally, right?
This is correct.
Then the second question was, when you said the clam digger digs, I don't know, millions of clams, I was wondering how he does that. Probably not with a little tiny shovel in his hand.
Spade, yeah.
Well, actually, how he does that is with a small rake, a really small rake, on his hands and knees, the whole entire time. He flips over about a 12-inch by 4-inch deep square, flips it back and does a row of that. Then he comes back and sorts through it and removes the clams from it. And it's on his hands and knees, stooped over for that 6 and 7 hour period of time.
So it is very massive.
With them.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard work.
And the third question was, of course, after I heard this now, do you have a cookbook or giving out recipes? I mean, this what I just saw was phenomenal.
If you email the Buck Bay Shellfish@gmail.com, I'm a little slow on it, but I've been working through some emails, and I personally like to be generous with recipes. I think that you got to be crazy enough to want to cook some of these recipes at home. First of all, I can't promise they're easy. Yeah, but if
is at gmail.com.
Yeah, buckbayshellfish@gmail.com. I'm sure you can get it through a link on the Visitors Bureau.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Fun. Well, thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. But we've been talking so much about the bistro. Let's go to the bistro now, and then we can keep talking about it after we get to see
Wow.
the really fun place that Tony and Avery have created for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is our new bistro. It opened this year. It's been a great success, mainly because we're all outdoor seating. So what we have here is a large crew that builds most of their food based on the gardens that we grow. And you can see it's a short but a very potent menu. They have a little bit of everything from clams, steamed clams, sometimes clam linguine, all kinds of garden salads, as I mentioned before, and just all kinds of beautiful food and desserts. So this is certainly someplace to come and visit. You can sit in our outdoor area, out in the sunshine, which is gorgeous today, and just enjoy yourselves. So please come and visit beautiful Orcas Island, and especially stop by and see us here at Buck Bay Shellfish Farm on the east side of the island. You'll enjoy a very nice vibe, fantastic food off the chart. It's worth the beautiful drive out here. It's just 20 minutes from town, and we have a lot of options and a lot of great things to see here. Come and see us.
Okay, that's just a taste of how fun and funky Buck Bay is. I feel like you guys have such a fun atmosphere. I love all of the murals and the buoys. It's just a really fun, you've created a really fun place to hang out and stay, and just sort of enjoy an incredible view. So we do have another question in our chat asking what your hours are for the upcoming season. If you guys are going to close down in the winter and then reopen again in spring, but people that want to visit you, it sounds like very soon, are curious what your hours are.
Well, what we're doing right now is through next weekend, the 11th, I believe it is, we're open 7 days a week. The bistro's open 12 to 7 every day, except Sunday we'll do 12 to 5. So right now we're standing at every day. The deli opens at 10 a.m. to get those people in and out that want to come in and get their shopping done early. After that point, we're going to try to stay open until October 31st, Halloween. We're not real sure what that looks like. We're going to be kind of looking at how our week goes this week and level of business and things like that, and kind of scaling back to, on the crew level and things like that. So we'll try to keep the messages and the word out there and keep our A boards all updated to what we're doing, so that you're not making a trip out here for anything other than a beautiful drive.
Yeah, and we regularly update the website and our Instagram account for those who like to use Instagram, try and get those things regularly circulated.
And we hope to open next year by April. The weather kind of starts getting a little bit better, a little bit warmer there, and so I think that's probably what we're going to be doing, is looking for an April opening.
I wanted to share a few things. I wanted to say thank you so much. I love coming to Buck Bay, and I just moved to the island recently, and I've been in the San Juans for about a year. And one of my first experiences was coming to your restaurant bistro area, and getting to hear a famous poet, speak under that beautiful tree. And it was it was so magical. It was in the evening time, and all the food, and it was so graceful, and seeing the garden, and I fell in love with your whole scene. And then just recently I came and had I just want to commend you, Avery, your creativity. I had some kind of like delicious bread with like some kind of sauce, and then mussels and fennel, and it was outrageous.
The infamous mussel toast, yeah.
It was so good. So I'm just
that.
really grateful that you exist, and we're so close, and that I have lots of friends who come to visit me. I used to live in California, and you're the place that I love to bring them to experience, the bay and along with the Orcasong farm where I get to work. So I'm just so grateful. And I love that you have dogs. So you allow like people with their animals and the chickens and the dogs. And I just feel
Oh, the chickens.
such a great place to come. So thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to say, someone says, Karen says, thank you, Kat, as I am planning my bucket list trip next April. So
Very good.
that's so exciting. And that's kind of one of our hopes for these virtual tours, is to help spread the word about some farms and restaurants and wineries that maybe you didn't know about or had missed in your last trip up to the island. So it's fun to be able to shine a spotlight on such a treasure as Buck Bay.
Well, we sure appreciate that. We have so much fun doing this. It means everything to have great customers come up and just see them relax and enjoy themselves and catch the vibe, if you will, and just enjoy all that we offer here. We have it's a little bit of work, but well worth the reward. Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, if anyone has any further questions, feel free to ask them now. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us, and we hope that you join us on other future farm tours, cooking classes, and wine tastings all throughout October. You can find those again at visitsanjuans.com/savor. We're really excited to take you to Orcasong Farm on Wednesday. Kat might join us there again too. Orcasong Farm is on Wednesday, and then Pebble Cove Farm is on Friday. So we're just gonna bounce around Orcas Island all week, and we're really excited to go on that journey with you. So if there are any further questions, feel free to ask them now.
We just wanted to say thank you so much. We really enjoyed this, and we've been looking forward to it. So we appreciate the time and energy that goes into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Erin.
Oh, my pleasure. This is so fun. This is the most fun I've had off quarantine.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you all. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and hope to see you on another tour very soon.
All right.
Thanks, y'all. Come join us soon.